Stop that. All right, so anyway.
Feels like deja vu for some reason. But anyways, if anybody's still here after the nonsense there, welcome to our new season for Carnival of Randomness. Hope you had a happy holiday. The weather's been frightful a little bit. We always say have Carnival of Randomness issues. Not like we would ever have to restart a podcast because we're professionals. So I'd like to do a shout out to Fran Bass, who passed away. From Marge's sweet lady. She passed away and we'll miss you. And Joe Galusha was supposed to be here. Joe will return, the cutest of the Lipscrew sisters.
Yep.
He is cute. But Greg, take it away.
All right. Well, I'm here with a couple of my good friends. Rich Fiordeliso, who I've known since 4th grade.
4th grade, man.
And Steve Tortoretti has returned to the carnival.
Hello. And you'll never guess what I'm going to ask now. You've never heard this before. How did you guys meet?
Well,
I moved into the neighborhood 4 houses away from Greg.
Yep.
And we went to the same grade school together. We were in the same classes together. And he was this little roly-poly kid back then.
I heard you had no class.
Yeah.
So we started doing things, playing together, and, he played drums before I even started playing keyboard.
I am not the suave, debonair, sophisticated guy you see before you. Like
that dude in the Charles Atlas ads.
Yeah, right.
Hand kicked in his face.
Are you tired of bullies?
We used to sit on my porch that had jealousy windows, and when cars would go by, we'd go, "Hey!" Yell at the cars. They all look. We see these funny,
people
expressions.
Because you couldn't see the people inside the house.
They didn't know where it came from.
They were like louvered windows.
I used to shoot snowballs at the cars, and you're going, "Hey!"
Yeah. You
want to see crazy expression and hit somebody on the side window when they're driving by.
Well, we used to do a weird thing. We put a new spin on it. Because we were like little hoodlums.
Oh, God, yeah. We were.
And what we would do, we would have 2 people. We'd have one guy in the back of the house, and then somebody out by the street spotting. Remember that? And we'd throw the snowballs over the house.
Oh.
Over the house.
Geez.
Over the house, trying to find when the cars would...
Yeah.
So they would drop in front of the cars.
Yeah.
I was bold. I'd stand right there.
Hey!
Check this out.
I ducked behind like a snow thing. But right now, it's like a 95-year-old guy still with the vendetta.
Yeah.
Have you ever fight you?
How many times people would turn around and come back after us?
Yeah.
We'd run.
Sure, that's happened.
We'd run, man.
No, they got one of my friends one time. Beat the shit out of him.
And we used to do Jerky Boy phone prank calls.
Oh, my God. We used to record it. There was this one guy, he was a drunk. We used to call him up, and he used to call us Boo-Boo. He'd go, "What do you want, Boo-Boo? What are you doing, Boo-Boo?" And then what we did was we recorded his voice and called him back, and he's talking to himself.
Yeah, right. He would argue with himself. Telling himself to go to hell. And
childish behavior, just like today, kids.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but we got together, Rich and I got together and used to just practice, because I figured, well, okay, I got drums. I'll come down to your house.
Yeah, he had his drums at my house. At that time, I had the Hammond organ. The first Hammond organ I bought was a CV,
right?
And I got it from my local idol, Vinny Strang.
I remember that. He came down and did some adjustments.
He did some adjustments because the organ needed a lot of work, and especially the Leslie speaker, it wouldn't slow it down. I'd have to take a hammer and hit the Leslie. Remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah. And boom, I have to slow the Leslie down.
And I have to say that Rich was crucial to my growing up, because they had a little room in the basement, like it was a bar or something.
Oh, yeah.
And,
with the picture.
And your dad always had those, like, great 60s, like cheesecake, nudie garage things, like from a gas station or something.
Oh, my God.
I mean, if you had a few of those now, you'd be in the chips, bro. You'd be making some serious money.
Well, I met Rich back in I believe it was the mid-70s, 77 maybe, because I was playing with the band Heads or Tails.
It was 77. That's when the second Masquerade
was breaking up. Heads or Tails was breaking up. I had mentioned that on the last podcast I was on. And I don't know, things were unraveling with Heads or Tails. So Bill Turketti, our guitar player with Heads or Tails,
Well, you know,
knew Rich.
We knew each other, and we were sitting next to each other at who? Where? Greg Andrews' recital.
Oh, no kidding.
Right.
Nazareth recital.
Wow.
So that's what we put the band together.
Yeah.
I got Lex in the band, Lex Byers.
Well, that's the first
Second masquerade.
The second masquerade. So Bill said, well, listen, let's stick together. It was me, Bill Tortoretti, and Joe Policia, who had taken Howie Goldwasser's place because Howie had left the band. So it was me, Billy Tortoretti, and Joe Policia. And Bill said, well, I know two guys. They're reforming their band, Masquerade. So it was Rich and the singer.
What happened to Joe? I remember that.
Joe passed almost 2 years ago, sadly.
Yeah, my friend, rest in peace, Joe Policia.
Yeah.
So we, with the five of us, we reformed Masquerade and went back out as the new Masquerade.
Right?
The original Masquerade had what, Rich? 7-piece? You had horns?
We were 6. I think we were 6-piece. We didn't have a guitar player. That was weird. I was doing a lot of
you had no guitar player?
No, I was doing a lot of stuff with the Hammond.
Okay.
And we had a trumpet and trombone.
Right.
And we had Reinhard Brucker on drums.
Ryan's a great player.
Drummer.
I still see Reinhard because I've been playing with.
I see him once in a while.
I've been playing with that Keys to the Caddy that he does. With
Keys to the Caddy with Tony.
Yeah, right.
I've been playing some gigs with
them. That's cool.
I graduated at Eastridge with Ryan.
Right.
Ryan plays, multi-instrumentalist, bass guitar, drums, great drummer, singer.
I remember he had that band back in the day, Blackberry or Black.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Blackberry Winter.
Yeah.
Blackberry Winter. Yeah, I never heard that.
Damn. Good call, Steve.
Yeah, I never heard that.
Because Steve doesn't smoke pot. So
no, my memory it's fading, but I still have a little bit in there that jogged the old memory bank.
I like that name better than Blackberry Smoke, actually. But
Blackberry Smoke.
But I mean, remember they had that singer. I forgot her name, but I remember Reinhardt and this guy Steve that was the bass player. I used to pal around with him when I was growing up.
Reinhardt's a great singer too.
Yeah,
man.
he's real good.
Oh yeah.
And they were good. And Kim, that guy Kim Murray, I guess he's the guy that does all those martial arts places.
Oh yeah. Oh no, one of my best friends, just his birthday a couple of days ago, Sammy DeLucia. Been friends since first grade. He still hangs out with Kim Murray because he's always in martial arts. He had his own.
I believe it's the same guy.
Master Kim.
Yeah. Uh-huh. But anyway, let's go back a little bit. So the thing is, Rich and I, we started out in the grade school thing, and then after we went to different high schools together.
Yeah, we did.
But we were still playing.
We had a different drummer at first.
Right.
But then this guy was off the wall. He would never remember our arrangements and stuff, and he was a really good drummer, but we kicked him out for Greg. And then we had Tom in the band too.
Oh right.
And
Rich has a bad habit of kicking drummers out. That's for another podcast.
That's why Joe's not here.
I think Rich told him don't show up.
No, so we had Tom in the band, and he couldn't sing, that poor guy. But he had all the equipment. He had the PA system and stuff.
I learned a valuable lesson from that. Own everything.
Own everything. That's right. Well, Greg was the one that was trying to take the speakers out of. Remember that, taking the speakers out, and then Tom came and he saw us taking the speakers out of his cabinets.
Well, in the early days,
we were a little hoodoo.
Oh, we were bad. Yeah.
In the early days, it was always I'm in a band and we need to share the cost of everything. So let's all buy a PA.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Together.
Meanwhile, I was the person when they asked what the favorite TV show was the only one who said Star Trek. So I was super popular when I was young.
Yeah.
So then, basically after the high school thing, which we did a gig at Kearney when I was in high school.
Yeah, that was
with
fantastic.
The band Subway.
Yeah, we did a lot of gigs.
Kearney had some good dances. Yeah. I didn't go to them all, but I did go to a few.
We had a manager.
They had the Christmas dances. They had the Christmas dances at every year. Did you ever go on any of the Christmas dances?
Probably.
At Kearney?
Yeah. I mean, I was going out with one girl in high school. So.
Yeah, I went a couple
that's
times.
Right, I remember that.
There was a girl I was dating briefly that was a Kearney
I never got to date her. I just went out with her.
Yeah. It was I didn't see her other than the Christmas dances. Hi, you want to go to the Christmas dance? Okay.
I think that went over his head.
I missed it. I'll catch it on the replay.
Subway had a manager, Steve Pies.
Oh, my God.
The biggest bullshitter I've ever heard.
He got gigs, though.
He got his gigs. You know what? He put on a sign that we played at St. Joe's. Remember St. Joe's? And the sign said, Subway, just coming from on tour with Three Dog Night.
Yeah. Hey, whatever works.
Was it BS? That was BS?
Oh,
tell them anything and they'll believe it.
Hey,
big time.
Right. That's right.
But so after high school, then everything, we all kind of split up because you got married. And
I know, but don't forget, we had Jerry Man 3. We won 3 Ps.
Oh, that's right. We did that.
Yeah. Jim Bonanno couldn't do it anymore. He had to work nights. And we didn't need a bass player. We don't need Howie.
So we did the organ trio.
We don't need Howie?
We don't need Howie. I did bass pedals.
Howie?
I played bass
Howie
pedals.
G?
Yeah.
Right. So,
Sorry, Howie.
Well, yeah, we were influenced a lot, and we went through our Lee Michaels phase there of just doing organ trio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, later on, though, then you guys were working at Kodak and this and that.
Right.
We ended up, ironically, after Masquerade, I was out of the band because of issues. We won't go into those.
We won't go into them.
Because we're friends right now, so I like to stay that way.
No brawls in the studio.
No brawls. So, ironically, I started working at Kodak. I was on Humboldt Street at what they called C Building, and was part of Clinical Products.
Yeah.
And I show up one day, and lo and behold, who's working there? Rich Fiordeliso.
That's right, I was there.
There he is. Oh, we used to have a blast.
Oh, we did. We had the coffee clutch.
We had what we called the coffee clutch. There was like maybe 20 of us who would take break together.
Guys and girls. Oh,
yeah,
friends,
we used to have a lot of fun there. Rich was in QA, quality control, QC, not QA.
Is that why
That's questions and answers. QC is quality control, but I know Rich used to run the machines. We made these blood analyzing machines.
Oh my God, I used to kick those machines.
Rich, he's got the worst temper. Ladies and gentlemen, stay clear of Rich. If he's ever in a bad mood, things are gonna fly.
Screwdrivers go flying out.
Oh my God, he'd be out there. I don't know how he kept his job. He was always swearing and kicking and banging the machine.
I had the one, though. My one Kodak story like that was I did notching and rounding. I was in the building down by Latona. So I go in there. I'm on night shift. I go in there, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It's like some guy before me stuffed cake in there.
Sabotage.
Man, I know. I used to hear these crazy Kodak stories about people sleeping, getting drunk.
We would find the mattresses like in the carts.
Yeah.
They had a prostitution ring going on there too.
At Elm Grove.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
They were doing it on the roof.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So after
any pictures? No pictures from Kodak. Oh my God!
I know.
How do you miss that?
Then I think I met Greg through Rich. Because by the mid-'90s, Rich and I were both divorced, so we're going out.
Oh, man.
We used to go out every weekend. And
tell them how our stomachs used to hurt. We used to be laughing so much.
We used to laugh. I mean, my God. The crazy stuff we used to do and say.
Yeah.
But that's how I think I met Greg.
Yeah, probably
not in the 90s. We used to go, you were playing, I think I remember one time.
Playing with them.
Oh, no.
Greg. I always said to Greg, I said, don't tell us
everybody
who you're playing with, because he plays with everybody. Tell us who you're not playing in a band with. It's a lot easier to remember that. And then you go out to this bar, there's Greg. You go out to another bar, there's Greg. You go out to another bar,
guess
who? That's Greg.
Well, when you have no life, what are you going to do?
I heard the question with Greg before where I said, dude, are you going to go see this band? It's like, I'm playing in the band.
Yeah, that's okay. Hey, listen. It's better to be sitting home with your thumb in your butt, So that's how I met Greg, is through Rich. And, we've all been friends ever since.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad we're still doing it. I mean, I was thinking about all this before we were going to get together today. And I mean, all this 6 degrees of separation thing. I mean, we grew apart, we grew together, we grew apart, come back together, and guess who's last man standing? We're still
here, kids.
And
that's right.
Same with Joe Galusha, who was supposed to be here today, but had a little.
He will return.
I met Joe when he was playing with the Mama Heart Band.
Yep.
I didn't meet Joe till just a handful of years ago.
I heard that band.
But we, ironically, we were playing in the same circle.
Yeah, I remember him from the Elm Grove Inn and all those.
Yeah, all those old
we
bars.
Played Elm Grove Inn.
Yep.
The Centurion. I mentioned that in the last podcast. The Centurion.
I played there.
Joe played there with his band. We played there with Circus.
I don't remember any bands at Elm Grove Inn, actually, because I used to.
I played Elm Grove. Yeah, that's long gone.
Well, I think too. The thing I was going to discuss with Joe, and when he comes on, we'll talk about it. But because of him. Well, actually, not because of him, but I got to meet him more because I started playing in the 90s with Kevin Hart and those guys.
Oh, yeah. Great player.
And
great player.
I was playing in that band with Dick Grammatico, Firecat, for a little while before Ron Rocco came back in. I had gone off to school. I was like, well, I want to go to school. So that's when I went to Nazareth. Oh. But, so I was playing at Dickie's house. And all those guys lived in Gates. Right. So I kind of got to be in the Gates group, from that. And
you're in the clique. You're in the clique.
I am. Ninja. So,
I grew up there. I'm like, used to call me Schwarzarelli. So you pulled into Nazareth, you felt half past dead.
That's right.
So we kind of. I'm going to cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, go on. Steve,
I've got notes. I got notes.
He's
kids.
actually professional. I'm
I got a few.
So because we're into the new year, this is our first podcast for the new year.
Eventually, finally.
Yeah, finally we're getting the show together here. So I just want to wish everybody a happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. I wish you health, happiness, and prosperity for the new year. And it comes from way down and deep into my heart. You know how serious I am. Surely you know how serious I am.
Don't call me Shirley.
Pardon me while I get sick.
So the names have not been changed for this show because we went up.
There's no innocent to protect.
We're not innocent.
I will check the statute of limitations for some of those stories though next time. Make sure you can.
I want to wish everyone a happy birthday who's having a birthday this year. So happy birthday to.
I think that would be everybody we know during the year.
I almost didn't make it this morning. Not because of the weather, because I ran out of hairspray. So I was like, seriously. I mean, everybody, seriously.
Your hair looks perfect for radio.
Thank you. I worked long and hard to get it like this. Trust me.
It might be a long time ago when I was in London. I met a werewolf at Trader Vic's.
So years ago, when I first got divorced, I was living with Rich. I moved in.
My God.
Yeah. So
I know what you're going to say.
I'm living with Rich, and we're getting ready to go out one night. So I'm going to jump in the shower and get ready. Okay, go ahead. So he jumps in the shower. He's out in like 3 minutes. He's all done. I go, aren't you going to wash your hair? He goes, I did. I go, well, it's perfect. I go, didn't you blow dry it? He goes, I don't have to.
He only washes the dirty part, so it doesn't take us.
Now, see, you have to understand, when I get in there, my hair is wavy, it's curly. When I get out of the shower after I wash my hair, and I know everybody really wants to know this, that I've got to blow dry my hair and style it.
Not me.
Seriously. So, then there's a little bit of hairspray involved, and a little combing, a little more hairspray, and a little more combing, a little more hairspray. That's why, Rich jumps out of the shower. He's all done. Boom, he's done. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my shower story.
We did actually in the 80s, okay?
Wow.
This was the thing for the 80s where you're like self-conscious, but the Miami Don Johnson Vice look. Where you have to spin your hair and wear the little white jacket.
Yeah, and my joke is, don't touch my hair. That's all.
I think appearance is good. I mean, that's one of my big gripes with a lot of these bands, especially the part-time bands. And I don't want to put anybody down, but
I do.
I just don't like it when guys, especially if you're up front. I mean, I don't care if you're behind something, keyboards or drums or something. But these guys are up front, they're overweight, they got the white sneakers and the mom jeans, and they look stupid. And they look like
now
they
that you've mentioned that,
they put no thought into the look of going on stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. This will be our last podcast for the year. We're going off the air after this one.
Actually, next time we're all going to wear tuxedos.
So I do agree with Greg. I do. Here's the thing. Here's what the problem is. It's not really a problem, but it is a problem. We grew up in we're all the same age. We're all 39. So we grew up in an age that, coming up with the Beatles and the British invasion and the American groups, everyone wore the same outfits, classy outfits. Look at what the Beatles did. Right. Brian Epstein made them go from biker-looking leather pants, leather jackets, and put them in suits and ties. Okay, he made them a class act. So everyone was following the Beatles. So when we got into bands in the late 60s,
always wore the black pants.
We all dressed alike. We followed the process and the pattern.
Right.
We used to go to there was a couple of nice stores down on West Main Street that sold Goldsteins. We used to go to Goldsteins. We bought suits. We bought matching pants.
What was they want? Beansies?
It was a Beansies. I never shopped there. We went to Goldsteins. To me, that was the place to go.
But see, then in the 70s, I went to the Army Navy stores and started buying the Army jackets and stuff.
Well,
the 70s
Then
grungy,
things changed.
Yeah.
Then things changed because guess what? The Beatles changed. They weren't dressing alike anymore. They followed a different style. And I've been reading the Beatles, this book called Beatles in '66, and it talks about the transition from them being, the lovable mop tops that everybody, was, all the girls were in love with, to they all had an identity. They were getting older. We were all getting a little older. And
that had to be tough for them, too.
Well, in the '66, and it's only a couple of years from '64, obviously, from '64 to '66. So much changed, and we don't realize, when we were kids, we're listening to the music, we're all happy-go-lucky, it's this and that. But reading what they actually went through from city to city, they were under a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure between recording and performing and PR. The PR.
Some of the things that John Lennon said.
The stupid things they were asked. Oh, what's your favorite color? Well, did you cut your hair today? When was your last? Stupid questions, and it would be like that in city to city to city. Kind of like what we're doing today.
How about when Lennon said that Beatles were more popular than Jesus Christ, boy.
Well, that was misconstrued. In some respects, it was true.
No, I know what he was saying. That's the thing.
But there was a backlash. The Burn the Beatles.
I've watched a lot of things
in Cleveland, I think it was.
I've watched a lot of things where he's defending that.
Yeah.
Right. And if people would have just listened to what he was trying to say.
Yeah. Right.
Well, kind of like Trump, so misunderstood.
Yeah, but the thing is,
it's sound bites. So you hear somebody so and so said.
Yeah.
You don't get the context.
It was literally what he was trying to say. Literally was. People are more into us. They know more about us than they know about religion.
But I would tell anybody,
that's all he was
if you have it around your house, just for what we were saying, go look at those greatest hits albums, the Beatles, like 1963 to 67, 67, 70. Look on the one side, then look at the other, how they changed about it.
They changed it constantly, and that's what made them so successful. They didn't stay into a pattern. They changed from album to album, not only the music, but their looks.
They were geniuses.
They had the right, that was one of the notes I jotted down was, thinking back from when they started, how old were they? They were 20 years old.
George was underage.
George was 19 when they hit in '64. I believe Ringo and John were 21. Paul was 20.
64. They were born in 1940. George was born in 1943.
Right. My oldest brother was born in
24. Thank you for correcting my math.
I'm weird with dates for birthdays.
Okay.
Like I was born in 1988.
I was the only senior in a freshman algebra class, and I still didn't pass it. But they came across the best manager by accident. It was a total accident with Brian Epstein.
That's for sure.
He heard them. And took over managing their career. The best manager you could ever have, best promotion guy. They had the best
He did
producer.
better than Steve Pies.
Best producer with George Martin.
By a sight.
Don't interrupt me. I'll have to slap you. The best arranger with George Martin. They accidentally came across. Actually, he came across them was Ed Sullivan. He saw them in England at the airport. They were coming back, I believe, from was it Sweden or Germany?
Oh, and
but they were
all the hubbub.
The hubbub at the airport. Ed Sullivan just happened to be there that day, not because he was out looking for him. It was just a coinky dink.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they got all these stars. They're all in alignment for these guys. It was just. Don't forget, they were talented. I mean, come on.
And you know, I always have felt the Beatles. They were like the template for what's now sort of the cliche rock thing. It's like, okay, my school buddies and I, we're going to get together and we're going to, you know, we're going to be famous. And then, you know, I think they just, and then they separated because they grew up and then they tried to be their own persons and people didn't like them because they weren't cute. And they just became like the whole archetype.
You know, it's weird if you
rock
ever
and roll
read.
bands, you know?
There's a book I read years ago called Beatles Forever. It's about this kid who grew up with them. And now, for me, I was glad when they changed. But when he saw Rubber Soul, he flipped because he was so used to the Beatles and how they had their hair and everything. He was quote unquote mad at them.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to watch that stuff to change, and you know, like you're not supposed to evolve or something, you know.
Now, you know, we're all these years later, you know, and looking back, because I do read a lot about them, and I listen to them a lot, and I understand a lot more today than when I was a kid.
Right.
You know, you read these books and you say, oh, they dissect their everyday life between recording and living, and you understand why they had to stop touring.
Right.
You know, we didn't want that. As kids, we didn't want that. It was a sad day when they announced they weren't going to tour anymore. But looking back now, with all the Beatlemania, it was insanity.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And I still, to this day, have a hard time understanding, with all the help that they were getting, why they did not have a proper PA of some sort.
That is true.
I mean,
they played these huge stadiums, these huge venues, and had these...
But they didn't put any money behind them.
It's like... Maybe because it didn't matter in a way. Like, if somebody asked me who I'd want to see, then it would be The Who. Because the Beatles, if you go to the show, they hated it as musicians because they couldn't hear over the screaming.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was just going to say. You couldn't hear over the
They didn't even have stage monitors.
Right, and I'm saying, like, 6 or 7 years later... You got these huge PAs. It's like, well, how could that? They didn't just get invented.
Technology got better.
These go to 11.
I know.
You know, I mean, even bands back in the day, you know, they had columns or something. I mean, I don't know why they didn't have something.
Exactly. It makes sense. It's like you question that.
I mean, you ever watch that one video where they're playing at Washington State? The Beatles play at Washington State, and they had Ringo on this round thing. And the thing falls apart, and he's got to move it around.
It's facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
They set it up, and they got his drums facing the wrong way, and he's out there turning the drum riser around.
Yeah.
So
pretty funny.
Before we go any farther, I want to give a quick shout out to Andy Calabrese, who's in the on the mixing board in the sound room. Hi, Andy, and thanks for doing things for us here. Appreciate it.
He's making the cannolis for afterwards.
Behind the scenes, Andy's in fact,
he is our George Martin, actually.
Actually, he is.
He makes it sound good.
And where did we meet Andy? I remember going to... I didn't know Andy back in high school because he went to BK.
Yeah.
And we're all, once again, we're all 39. It's funny that we're all the same age. Here he comes. I can see his feet.
We were marching. We were marching.
Here he comes, kids.
We were marching band buddies.
He's got something to say. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah.
We'll turn it over to Andy.
I'm quiet today.
Are you? Nothing to say?
Nothing to say.
What did Andy play in the marching band?
Clarinet.
Clarinet? No kidding. Wow.
Don't spread that around.
Bass player.
Did you travel to Ireland too?
Yeah, 3 times.
Wow, man.
And that was some great times.
Yes.
We hit all the pubs, 14 years old.
Yeah.
You reached the top of the bar, they served you.
You remember going to that we went to a girls' school?
It was in a small town.
Yeah, and the girl had a broken arm. And why'd you break her arm anyway? No. So she had a broken arm, and she wanted the band guys to sign her cast. So a bunch of us signed the cast. And then we were back somewhere, I forget wherever we were staying or something, and somebody said that somebody was on the phone for somebody in the marching band. And I don't know, it turned out it was one of the girls from that school wanted to know if we could come out and go to a party. Yeah, I don't know if I took the call, and I was just like, damn, because we couldn't get away because we had chaperones and Mr. Quartz and whoever else was there keeping an eye on us, and I was like, damn! So it was like, I almost was an international lover, but it was not meant to be.
Went to a hotel?
Probably.
In downtown Dublin?
I believe so, yeah.
Pretty wild scene.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
I managed to get out to a record store and bought a couple records.
And then remember Senior Year went to London, too?
I think I might not have done that one.
Went to the London Palladium, which is kind of like the Fillmore east of London.
Yeah.
And
Beatles
watching the band
there.
Stone the Crows.
Oh, right. I was there.
That was electrifying.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. They were a great band.
Well, I met Andy through Primetime Funk years later, after high school, many years later. But we used to, that's when we started going out together.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when
we went out together.
maybe even before you were in the band.
Secret Life.
Todd was the original.
Who was it?
Todd
East.
Oh,
were
wow, really?
Were you
Todd
in the band
East.
with Todd? No.
Originally it was Todd.
Right.
And then we did some. Occasionally it's the two of us.
Okay. Because we went to a New Year's Eve with the girls
Yeah.
at the Holiday Inn downtown, and Todd was the lead singer with Jimmy Richmond, and Todd.
Right.
Okay, but that I believe was before you. It was a fun night. We had a lot of fun.
That was a good night. Yeah, I remember it was a very snowy night.
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking. All right. Bye, Andy.
Bye, Andy.
Andy Calabrese.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you for your input. Now get out.
Turn him off.
So I got back into music after, we were losers.
We were in and out. Yeah, we talked about that.
We used to put the L on our foreheads. Loser.
We go out. Yeah. We're on the other side of the stage. We're out in the audience, which I enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed it. There were so many good bands back in the 90s and what comes after the 90s? The 2000s. And so we were going out quite a bit. I mean, otherwise, you're sitting home with your thumb in your butt watching the television with the remote. Well, Rich had all these remotes. I thought he's got the best toys.
Yeah.
I named all his remotes. You go over his house and he's got all his remotes lined up on the end table. Like meaty, beady, big, and bouncy. I named them all.
That's a good question, though. I've never thought of all these years of music playing. When you go to gigs and you're watching, is there a bit of a different perspective? Like, you look and go, okay, this guy's having problems with this, or this guy's doing this, or...
Well, I think as you get older, you start being more of a critic. I hate to say it. Things jump out at you that if they're good, I'll give all the credit in the world. If you're bad, if you're going... and everybody tries. I said this the last time. Everyone tries out there. Everybody plays their own game. I play, my style... Rich plays, Greg, he's a drummer. He plays his style. So, I don't criticize anybody like that, but...
We hear their mistakes, though. We just don't say
that's
anything.
What I was saying. You can tell if somebody's having a bad night or something. Because you can relate to it.
It happens to all of us.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Joe Pizzo called me up a couple of weeks ago. I was at Smoking Joe's for Joe Pizzo's birthday, and the LPs were playing. And, of course, it's Joe's birthday. The place is mobbed. Everybody's there to wish Joe a happy birthday, and all his friends and family were there. So the band takes a break, and he's mingling, of course. He knows everybody. So he comes up to me, Stevie, you want to play for a little bit? I said, Joe, I'll be honest with you, I'm rusty, man. I said, I really don't. Really? What? No, I don't want to play. But thank you, I don't want to play. So he goes back out there, he's talking to everybody. Well, the band's getting antsy. The band's on stage now without Joe. So, and Joe's still talking.
So you're forced up there.
So I said, you know what? I'll go up and play a couple tunes. So I did. I went up, and we will break out into an Allman Brothers tune that I played all the time with my current band, Third Degree. I'm playing the drums in the middle of the song. don't I drop the stick right in the middle of a flipping song. It's like, come on. This is why I didn't want to go up and play. So, you get rusty if you're not playing all the time, even trying to hold on to a stick.
I enjoy that stuff, though. It's like in Don Felder's book, he was pissed at Don Henley because every show had to be just like the album. I mean, you can go listen to the album at home. Yeah. I like when I'm the only person when Black Oak, Arkansas played at the festival tent and Jim Dandy was drunk and fell off the stage. I'm like, this is awesome.
This is live rock and roll.
Jim Dandy, is that his real name? Or
Jim Dandy Mangrum.
Is it okay? Yeah. Jim Dandy.
Well, it's funny we were talking about like all the places we used to go and things. New York State is probably fairly popular for that. Because I was watching a documentary, and now I'm losing track of what band it was. I watched a really good thing on Joan Jett the other day. Bad Reputation. If you get a chance, that's on the streaming things. Check it out. It's really, really good. But there was another band. It was a big band. You think I can remember the name? But anyway, they were in Hollywood, and they were trying to get their thing going. And they said, screw it, and they came to New York City. Their manager said, well, let's go to New York City. And next thing you know, there's all these places, because all these bars had bands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Syracuse and this area. And, I think it was the Joan Jett thing. Yeah, because they were trying to do the L.A. thing. And the guy goes, well, look, he puts a map down, and he goes, look at all these places that are within a few hours. And so that's why she got into the punk scene in New York City, which I didn't realize the Runaways were such a punk band because I wasn't really into them.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
They showed some of the footage. Oh, my God. They were like, it was like a Bug Jar show.
Is that right?
Yep. And they were like, kind of like, all that 90s stuff really like hit me. It was like, wow, that was like the era where I started paying attention to more stuff.
Yeah. And speaking of Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, I mean, there's a lot of great bands in all three cities. What bothers me the most is when
you're not in those bands.
I'm not in those bands. Exactly. I just maybe even one would be nice.
Not like Greg 100.
I know. Greg, what band are you not playing with this week?
The one I had the rehearsal with at 12:30.
So the promoters on a national level, it's like up and down the thruway, where between Rochester and Syracuse, it's about an hour and 20, 25 minutes. Rochester to Buffalo, an hour, 20, 25 minutes.
Right.
Why, the $64,000 question is, why don't these promoters book these bands and have them go right down the thruway in a matter of a handful, even 5 days, a 5 days span, to play Syracuse, Rochester, and then go to Buffalo, or start in Buffalo, come to Rochester. I just never understood it. I've seen they'll totally skip Rochester and go Buffalo to Syracuse, or Syracuse to Buffalo. Hello, we're Rochester, we're right in the middle.
Well,
Thank you.
The band The Seven used to come here. They were from Syracuse. Jam Factory, they were from Syracuse.
Jam Factory.
I have an answer to your question, though.
Yeah.
Because it would make sense.
We used to say, I brought that up at Kodak. I used to say that. Why don't we do that? Because it would make sense. Oh, it doesn't make sense.
I think
that's why we do it.
We're seen as such a conservative city for some reason, and the other places are seen as like blue collary. And we are too, but not as much as they are. And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, and I just think those people go out at night more. As simple as that.
The promotions or the owners, whoever owns the Rochester War Memorial Blue Cross Arena, remodeled it a bunch of years ago with the intent of booking bigger shows, better shows. I'm not so sure if that's happened. I mean, every once in a while we do get a great show there, but not on a regular basis. You're really waiting in between shows.
Last one I remember not going to, but I was trying to get to the Little, and it was all I had to cut all around Washington because Bob Seger was playing. But in my day, back in the day when it was the War Memorial, I would be going every month to something really good. Yeah. For under $15, under $10 a couple times.
I've seen some great shows there, no doubt. I mean, over the years,
never saw No Doubt there.
No doubt. They didn't make it. Seen Sinatra there. In fact,
I remember that show.
I didn't.
Seen Sinatra.
I didn't go. I wanted to go.
bought the tickets for the family for that one. My mom was a huge Sinatra fan. In fact, it was her birthday, and she was going away for the winter months, and the tickets were going on sale when she was going to be away. She says, Stevie, can you buy the tickets for me for Sinatra? I go, yeah, I'll try, Mom. Well, my intentions were to buy the tickets, not tell her, and give them to her for her birthday when she got back. So we were talking on the phone when she was in Florida. She goes, Stevie, did you get the tickets? I go, and I lied to her, of course. I said, oh, gee, Mom, I'm sorry. They sold out. I couldn't get. I tried so hard, and they sold out. So she was so disappointed. You know, I had to do it. I had to lie to her. So she gets back, and her birthday was in April, and I gave her birthday card and the tickets. Well, she opens her birthday card, and the tickets fall out for Sinatra. She was like floating on air. I've never seen anybody so happy to get, tickets.
And then she slapped you for lying.
You told you never lie to me. Never lie to me again.
So I got to ask Rich real quick. So how did you had some spaces in between, right, when you weren't playing?
Oh, sure.
So how did this back in town thing happen?
Oh, wow. It's word of mouth. It's crazy. But I used to fill in for the Coops once in a while.
Right.
And then one time they got me up on stage to play. Jonathan Tucker was playing. And,
okay.
And so he liked the way I played, and then he referred me to Mitty and the Followers.
Oh, nice.
So I used to play with them once in a while.
That's cool. They're fun to play with.
Oh, yeah. And then I knew Paul Fricano from Roll the Dice.
Okay.
And because I knew he was in the band Our Gang with Louis Rosigliano.
Right.
And yeah.
I played with him in the wedding band.
Okay.
The swing ship thing. Yeah. So
right. So Paul called me because they needed a keyboard player for Roll the Dice. They were going to play at Schooners.
Oh.
Well,
okay.
I didn't make the first job because Steph Henry was they were having trouble with him for some reason. I know. And there was something going on.
There's a story here. Okay, well,
there was something going on. But anyway,
he hired a
Steph
hitman.
quit the band. Yeah, Steph quit the band.
That's what we hear. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So I filled in for them, and I was going to join them, but then I was already in Skyway with Gary Mara.
Okay.
And I said, well, I can't join Roll the Dice. They're playing a lot, and they're playing way far, like Naples and all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, they were playing far all the time. So I said, well, I'll stay with Skyway. And then while I was in Skyway, now Skyway started playing these far gigs. For some reason, they couldn't get into Rochester anymore. I don't know why. So then Joe Donsbach from Roll the Dice was talking to Mark Mazo of Back in Town. So he said, we got a really good seasoned keyboard player. Joe said, he's really good. He says, why don't you try him out?
But he's overcooked as well seasoned.
Oh, that's right.
And you cook that chase.
So anyways, I went for the audition, and I was only going to be with them for 4 months because Neil, their regular keyboard player, was going away to Florida. He went away every winter. He was a snowbird.
Yeah.
Went every winter, but every time he went, it was getting more and more, I guess, that he was going away. So he decided to keep me on full time, which was great because it's a great working band. Got Lenny Clifford on lead vocals. She's fantastic.
Yeah, she's really good.
Mark is great on guitar. And we got two horns, and it's just a great band, and everybody gets along, and it packs the dance floor every gig, and I have a ball.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing but you have to stay in the loop.
You have to stay in the loop, and you have to be a positive guy and have a good reputation.
Right.
So
that's important. Oh, I got a good reputation. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
That was a nice story. I almost tears in my eyes. I got tears in my eyes.
So, and then I'm in 3 Hits and a Miss too. That's another thing that we got going.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're doing like summer jobs and the gazebos and stuff like that. We got a few.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
cool.
you sent me something.
Nick Russo's he's a drummer, but he's the lead singer with Brenda Weber.
Okay.
And Louis Rosigliano on guitar, me on keyboards, and we have a good time too.
Sweet. Well, that's good, man. That's
good.
I'm so glad that you're still in it. Yeah, I mean, that's like, makes me feel good. It's like, man, like we've just come out of this.
I wish you and I could play together sometime.
Yeah, well, we'll get there sometime.
Yeah, we will.
We'll figure it out. Maybe I can get you on some of the original stuff.
That's right.
I want to do some re-recording.
That's right. You were going to get that stuff to me.
Yeah, I will.
All right, great.
Back in the 90s when we were hanging out, I was trying to get him, because he wasn't playing, I wasn't playing. I was trying to get the Masquerade thing.
I didn't want to play that.
Have a reunion of Masquerade, put Masquerade back together.
For the rare people who don't know Greg and what he plays, imagine Phil Collins in the 1980s, but more work.
Yeah. I'm not so much anymore. Well, I stay as busy as I can at this point. But thank you.
Sure you do. Plus, you need the money.
I do. What little money there is to me. But you know what?
Steve, you look like you're going to say something.
It comes in handy. You might balk at it, $80, $90, whatever it is, but you know what? It's better than dipping in your bank account.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So this week, we're celebrating 60 years of the Beatles. It's Beatlemania all over again in some respects. They released four albums in 64 that kept everybody delivering newspapers and collecting bottles and cans.
Yeah, right.
But a lot of people don't realize this, but introducing the Beatles was on VJ Records. That was actually the first American release. They had the tan cover. In fact, let me hold it up so everybody can see.
Really
do a zoom-in shot. Oh, wait a minute. I thought we were on TV.
No.
I thought this was a TV show.
I don't see no cameras.
No.
We have faces for radio, dude.
Yeah.
I still have a copy of the Savage Young Beatles.
Savage Young Beatles with the yellow copy has a yellow border on it. Yeah, Savage Young Beatles.
And all that.
But introducing the Beatles was on VJ Records. It was released this week on January 10th, 1964. So 60 years ago. It's hard to believe that many years have gone by. Followed by Meet the Beatles. That's the black and white cover with a shadow of just a picture of the Beatles' faces up close. That came out 10 days later on January 20th. And that stayed at number one for 11 consecutive weeks when it was released, as opposed to the Introducing the Beatles on VJ, and that came in at number 2 for 9 consecutive weeks on the U.S. album charts. Interesting stuff going back then. I mean, everything was the Beatles.
And then we got the Ed Sullivan anniversary coming up. Right?
Yeah, they didn't even hit Ed Sullivan yet. This was all just on records and news footage of these 4 mop-top guys with this long hair.
I like watching that on Sunday. Yeah. The Rascals on there.
It's so funny when you think about all the stuff, all the output of the Beatles, and how hard they worked. They only did it for 6 years.
I know.
Well, overall, if you want to get technical, it was really more 10. It was 10 because if you count
since their inception. But I mean, the
you can go back to maybe 1957 with John and Paul. If you want to.
Yeah, it was it was a stepping stone. Every couple of years, something new would happen. But by the time they got Pete Best, that was around 62, I think it was.
I think so, yeah.
And,
but I mean, bands would kill to have 6 years worth of success.
Sure.
Could you imagine now if they were around, you might get one album out?
I know.
Yeah.
Tom Schultz, 8 years between records.
While they were all still alive, there was always that glimmer of hope that they would reunite.
Yeah.
And play just one more time. Was it Sid Bernstein offered them, I don't know what, big money, millions of dollars to get back together when they were all still alive.
Yeah.
And of course it didn't happen.
They were asked to get together
the
UN and
I'm surprised Peter Best never hung himself.
He got fired.
I know.
They said to get somebody else.
Oh yeah, it was a fundraiser.
And the biggest offer was on Saturday Night Live.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine being Peter Best back then?
That's a toughie.
Can we talk? I mean, the host is talking over here, Rich.
Oh,
yeah, he's a rookie. He doesn't know how this works.
No, we're doing Beatles. We're doing monotone that way, like.
But you're right. There was an episode on Saturday Night Live where there was a joke. Was one of them on
George Harrison?
Was Harrison on?
No, Lorne Michaels said, okay, it was like $3,000. Come on. When George Harrison came on, there's the joke about, well, no, I meant $3,000 for all 4. But I'll give you an extra $100 if you stay live from New York. It's Saturday night.
Well, John was watching at home.
The joke goes, him and Paul were in the Dakota watching, and they thought about driving down.
Right. Okay. That didn't happen, sadly.
That would have been wild.
No, well, John didn't want to leave Yoko. I'm still pissed at Yoko.
She couldn't sing for crap either.
Oh, come on.
Some books have her as a real villain, like some of the bios.
Come on. She was horrible.
Oh, man, you're too critical.
Critical? Who would like her?
Though, she
has a fan base. She has a fan base.
Not me.
So moving right along before we get sued.
That's all right. He's got the I Hate Yoko fan club. He's got where do we get the T-shirts?
Yeah, I met this guy. He had a T-shirt on. It was funny because it said, "And I'm still pissed at Yoko."
Yeah, I know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, funny. Yeah.
So what were we listening to?
The poor guy was in love and nobody wanted him.
Oh my God. Yeah. So what were the top LPs 50 years ago? It's 50 years. 1974. We're jumping from 64 now to 74, and the top LPs.
Probably rock nonsense. Right?
Well, it was a mixture. There was I looked on Wikipedia what the top albums were from 1974, and there was obviously 100 of them out there that were released that year. More than that, of course, but the top 100. And I made a few notes here on what I was listening to and what I was playing, because by 74 we had started Circus. And we were playing the Rochester music scene here. But I was listening to the Doobie Brothers, and I think everybody was. In 74, they had released what were once Vices Are Now Habits. And they had Black Water on that album, Another Park, Another Sunday, Eyes of Silver, which I really dig. It's an album cut. I don't know if it was ever released as a single, but Eyes of Silver was a great tune by the Doobies. Pretzel Logic, Steely Dan. I think we were all into that.
Yeah,
I love that.
See, I was into the funk and soul too, so I'm listening to Barry White, Average White Band. Love that. The White album is actually their second album.
Yeah, that's a great album.
That's the one that really made them.
They're great live too.
Oh, absolutely. Back also in '74, Tower Power, Back to Oakland. That was the album that was out by them. What else? I got a few notes here.
Speaking of Tower of Power, how sad that David Garibaldi is not going to tour anymore.
Garibaldi's
been at it a long time.
Long time.
Taking a break from the road. He's not totally retiring, but he's retiring from the band because their schedule is grueling.
That's ridiculous. It's crazy.
You used to have a friend or two in the band, but after that comment, I'm not.
No, I'm saying it's ridiculous how much they played out for their age. How much touring they do.
Well, unfortunately, the money is in live performance now. The streaming thing ruined a lot of things.
Yeah, sure it did.
Yeah. So what else have I got here? Oh, going back to the. We'll move along from Rich's insulting remarks.
It was not insulting. I was saying it. Never mind.
Rock and roll. Here we go. Twin Peaks by Mountain. Anybody listening to Mountain?
Leslie West rules.
Yeah.
That was always more my Montrose and Mountain, and that was where I was going back in the 70s. I wasn't crazy about that other stuff as much, because I was playing the disco stuff, and to me it was just, I got to do this stuff to make money. But I really liked the harder rock stuff when it started coming out. Yeah.
Stuff with the harmonies. Like with the Doobie Brothers. I mean, they had the vocals where it was ballsy rock and roll with great vocals, What else? I still love the Hollies. The Hollies were still doing it in '74, 10 years after the British invasion. I was still a big Hollies fan. They're still doing it with two original members in the band. Their drummer, and of course I'm going to go blank right now. I just went.
Alan Clark or whoever.
Alan's retired.
Oh,
he just did come back out of retirement. It came out of retirement and recorded an album on his own.
Oh wow.
So yeah, he's still singing a little bit here and there. Going back to the soul and the funk, Stevie Wonder, Fulfilling This was out in '74. Cold Blood, I know, Rich, you love Cold Blood.
I still love Cold Blood.
Yeah.
You can talk.
Yeah, I can talk. You got them out big enough for 2 rows of teeth, and I can talk.
You do have more than one guy.
The Isley Brothers. I love the 3+3 band when they finally, they broke out. Who's that lady? With Ernie Isley. I'll tell you, a very underrated guitar player, Ernie Isley. I love him, man. He's like a Jimi Hendrix.
No, he's great. I have some of his single stuff.
Yeah, Ernie Isley's the bomb, man. He's great.
Back to square one, that song.
So what's on your playlist now?
Some of these same things, really. To be honest with you, I still love the Jay Giles band. Nightmares was out at that point in time. I was listening to Rufus. Yes, a little bit on the more prog stuff with the band Yes. And those are the albums.
My poor Big Star probably didn't even make the top 100. Poor Alex.
Who was it?
Big Star.
Big Star.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Alex Chilton.
Yeah.
From the Box Tops.
And I was actually doing I'm getting really into Thin Lizzy at the moment. Thin Lizzy, they pronounce it. It's named after a robot now. Thing. But they really, until Jailbreak hit, they never really broke it in terms of sales.
Right. Yeah, that was a good rock and roll band. They're still together.
Phil Lynott, to me, embodied cool, too. There was just something, and the way he wrote, he was a lot more intelligent than usual, let's rock and roll. Though he actually had
So, Rich, what's on your playlist these days? What are you listening to?
Well, I still listen to 70s and 80s. I got the Sirius XM and all that. And I listen to all that stuff. I'm serious.
Really?
I know. I listen to
everything.
I was listening to Ozzy's Boneyard on the way over here.
I listen to just about everything. Whatever I'm in the mood for that day or whatever.
I love Mike Murray's show on Saturday afternoons. Hi, Mike. Give you a little plug.
Oh, he's a regular here.
He's been on a few times.
So, from 4 to 6 on Saturday afternoons, and Mike plays a wide variety of everything. I mean, a lot of obscure stuff. He usually flips over the hit songs and plays the B-sides.
And if you pay him enough to play one of your songs.
What station is that?
It's 88.5.
Yeah.
Oh.
88.5.
And also, too, as I know Greg's got to take off pretty soon, we have to do a shout-out to Danny Deutsch.
Oh, yeah, Danny.
Hey,
congratulations, Danny. I had that actually marked down here. Maybe you saw it. Congratulations.
Everything comes from in here, the brain. Okay, maybe.
Best place to hang out or best bar or whatever.
Well, he got the award for the best live music venue. The small live music venue. He got the
it's like best of local, best of regional. He pulls them all in.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, he does a good job. I mean, he's a great guy, and he gets the acts in there, and he does what he can do. With his budget. So
I love seeing the before and after pictures on the Facebook page there with what it used to look like. I think it was boarded up when he bought it.
Wow.
Yeah, the building.
It's a nice place inside.
I never hear the end of it though from him there. And I think the first time I went there, I went the wrong way at Gibbs Street. When I ended up at the Cadillac Hotel, maybe I should turn around. Maybe turn away.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and cut the Chris Duarte show because I want to see Chris Duarte in that small place. Because I've only seen him outside.
Okay.
And I just want to see this guy play quietly. Because
I don't know about that.
The last time he was there, everybody said he played to fit the room.
No, really?
And so I would like to hear that. Yeah.
I seen him a couple of years back, and I am glad I brought earplugs because he really was loud, too loud for that room and that particular show.
Well, that's not. I mean, I'm just saying. I asked Andy particularly that. I said, wasn't he really crazy loud? And no, it was good.
He likes playing loud. That's his thing.
Oh.
In fact, I didn't know where his amplifiers were. He had them covered up with their coats and stuff, and it was still loud. He had the amps covered up. But Duarte's an incredible guitar player.
Well, I know Danny, and I know his sister Liz.
Oh, yeah?
She's my wife's best friend.
Oh, wow.
She's an attorney, and my wife used to do all the. She was like a paralegal, did all the work for the lawyers there.
Oh yeah.
For the city.
Yeah. I'm not an attorney, but I played one on TV once.
Right.
I used to work for Dewey, Cheatham and Howe.
No, but it's always a great place, and I always love to look at his calendar. It's like, how do you get this person? How do you get this person?
Really?
And you get these up. Like I saw Allie Venable there, and now she won't be playing a smaller venue like that now.
Yeah. It's one place where Rob and I kind of bonded over is all this comic book stuff and geek stuff and sci-fi.
Who, you, Greg?
No. Well, that's what I mean. Everybody made fun of me for being into that stuff when I was in school. And who's laughing now?
He was a big
little monkey.
Greg was a big geek, and it's like the Big Bang people, the Big Bang Theory.
And look how popular that's all become.
Oh, that's so popular.
And, people spending crazy money and going to comic conventions and dressing up like...
Dressing up like the character.
I'm not doing that, I don't know.
No, neither.
But Greg's got to go soon, and I think this has been... We'll have to come back for another... You guys have been great.
Thank you, Rob.
This has been...
Thanks for having us.
Carnival's about a bunch of people just shooting the bull, having fun.
Right. That's cool.
Well, what's coming up for everybody?
I don't know. Rich and I are going to go out in the parking lot and have a fist fight.
Okay, come down here. We'll delay it a half hour. Everybody show up. I'll take bets.
Well, come see back in town at My Wine and Cheese 2 in Fairport. We're playing there on March 9th.
I'll
tell you, Fairport's getting a lot of... After COVID, Park Street, the venues,
it's really hot.
Yeah, some have closed, but new things will come in.
Yeah, Smoking Hot Chicks closed. That was awful.
They've got
Capone's closed on Empire.
Did they?
They just did.
Yeah. They tried. I tell you, they did a great job there. They tried really, really hard. They booked some great bands in there.
Yes,
Rich played there several times.
I was talking about, and they got a shout out to my good pals Chuck and Buddy for Drumroll Sushi in Geneseo. But it's tough business. It's
it is.
I think it's 90% fail rate for restaurants.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sadly, that's the truth.
It is.
Bars have a life expectancy, and it's not always very long.
You ever want to do something? Maybe we'll do this on another show. But every year, I'll take out like a piece of paper. I'll write down every bar, club, restaurant I've been to that's gone.
Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes, too, bands, I hate to say it, but I've heard some stories. I mean, some bands come in with really stupid demands.
Yeah.
And, you can't be asking for $700 or $800. You just can't. It's just not feasible.
Unless you've got a following. If you've got a following and you're putting asses in the seats, and I've said this for a long time.
Yeah.
You've got to play what people want to hear. You can't be out there always playing what, your stuff.
Right.
That's what we do with Back in Town.
What do people want to hear? If you're selling widgets and nobody's buying widgets, then you shouldn't be selling widgets.
Right.
Okay? And it's a business.
There is a scene for the original thing, and those are the clubs you focus on. But if you're going to go to play to, Joe and Betty Popular, then you got to play the right stuff. Yeah. Agreed.
That's why people love our set list in Back in Town because it's...
But the other side of the coin, I mean, it is. I've seen the band. It's great. You play great stuff. But the other side of the coin is people have to adjust their attitude about partying with $5 or $10 at the door.
Right.
It's like,
get over the free admission, ladies and gentlemen, because the bands put a lot of time and energy into their product, into their show.
Money that we put into our instruments.
So $5 in today's environment is not a lot of money to pay at the door.
I don't know why people have such a hard time with that.
Come on. You got the money.
I'll tell you why, Greg. I found this out because one of my best friends is a comic book artist. I've done some films, some music. They don't think it's a job. In some ways, I swear it.
They think we're all just having fun.
I think you're just going to play. Oh, it's music. It's not a job.
Right.
There's hours and hours of rehearsal involved.
Haven't you seen Greg out a couple of years, we'll drum for food?
Right. He's got a spot at the corner. I've seen him there.
You know what?
We'll drum for food.
No, but seriously, one of my friends has been artists.
Food has been very good to me.
I will have friends, though. They'll go to my friend. She's a comic book artist. Oh, can you draw this for me? And she charges. It's like, no, it is work.
Yeah.
You don't have a 9 to 5. You're doing something else. No, they have to eat. Well, not us, maybe. We could probably take a few weeks off. Not right. But it's a job, and they enjoy doing it. It's fun. It's called playing. But it's also work and how they earn their freaking living.
I
agree.
Yeah. No, very good
point.
But
and if you don't want to pay $5 or $10, it's like...
It depends on the band. I'll pay 10 if it's something really special.
Yeah, I mean...
I don't mind paying 5.
Now, then, in terms of bands, you have to be Led Zeppelin, though, to make crazy demands. Otherwise, be realistic.
I do like free.
I do too. No, I admit that I like free too. It's like I go to some of my musicians and I go, "Are you for free speech?" Good. Go give a show.
Yeah. But I mean, when you think about it, it's one beer. I mean, really, you're gonna freak out over $5 less. I don't
Plus,
know.
I'm hoping now. See, my other view on that is okay. If you have to pay 10 or so, I'm hoping the people are there then to see the music, so I don't have some idiots that we talked to before.
Joe Pizzo at Smokin' Joe's does not charge a cover. Thank you, Joe. Brings in some of the top.
Happy birthday, Steve Lyons. I got to interrupt.
Oh, that's right, Stevie. Happy birthday, Steve. But Joe doesn't charge a cover, and he brings in some great bands. He always did. Joe has been great for the Rochester music scene, and we were talking about bars not lasting. I believe Joe's getting up there as far as how long he's had the bar open. I'll bet he's approaching 30 years.
Sure,
I think so.
I'm pretty sure he's closing in on 30. He'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. So
and it makes me laugh because in that neighborhood, you say you're playing there, and people get weird. And it's like, you know what? I tell them all the time too, and I'm serious. I said you're going to be safer in that place than anywhere.
No, I used to do doors at bars, and I'll tell you, honestly, bad neighborhoods or where not to go. I've never had any problem there. You feel safe.
Really?
I've never had a problem at Smokin' Joe's ever. Never.
I think Johnny's is a good place too to go to.
Johnny's
there's no problems there.
Yeah, Johnny's has been there for a couple years now.
Kristen is great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're doing a great job there. It's picking back up again because after Johnny turned it over, it kind of died out a little bit, and then we got hit with the COVID.
Yeah.
So, everybody had to start all over again. But
does anybody have anything to play? Somebody has to.
I brought some music to play, but I have this to end the show with.
Anybody else?
Well, I got...
No cartoons will ruin your mind.
And ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Greg.
Say goodnight, Dick.
I can have a waiver here. I am only responsible for myself, not the guests or my co-hosts. But it's been great, guys. You going to come back?
Oh, sure.
I'd love to
anytime.
if you'll have me. I hope I didn't offend anybody, and if I did, too bad.
Well, if I come back, don't bring Steve, though, because he talks too much.
Yeah, I told people, listen, I'll behave myself. You know, sometimes I get a little carried away with some of my...
So we're going to have 2 phone numbers to call in. Who's going to win the fight in the parking lot? This number for Steve.
I'll be handling the bets at the front of the building. I'll be setting the ring up now. And if you're all nice, we'll have the mud wrestle.
Snow wrestle today.
Don't tell me I must fell on my ass yesterday.
God.
Really? Oh, no.
It's going to melt by the end of the week, thankfully.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Rochester. What do you want?
Yeah, that's right. Rottenchester.
But Greg's got his cool hat on. I guess that means,
I'm ready.
Elfie's and Gazoo. Thanks, guys. And
The comrade is leaving.
See ya next week, I think, the way we're going. Probably.
I'm going to be playing at Murph's next Saturday.
With who?
With Brian Lindsay.
With Brian? Okay.
Great.
On that end show. Bye.
They got a great keyboard player, by the way.
Say goodnight, Dick.
no, don't.